Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to decipher the ancient scrolls of modern engineering to uncover the new warrior steeds of our time, electric motorcycles. So think about it. You're in a world that hears every single move you make. Whether you're doing reconnaissance in a jungle so thick that drones can't see a thing, or you're tracking something in remote mountains, those old, loud, heavy vehicles, they're basically a giant dinner bell. The enemy, or even just the wildlife, they hear you coming from miles away. It's a huge problem. So, what's the answer? Simple. You become a ghost. You need a whole new kind of cavalry, one that can move with almost total stealth. And that means wiping out your signature entirely. I'm talking auditory, no engine roar, olfactory, no exhaust fumes, and even thermal. Basically, you need a ride that doesn't scream, doesn't stink, and doesn't light up on an infrared camera. All right, Section 1, the silent revolution. Because, a new battlefield demands a new steed. And that's exactly what military and research teams realized. They needed something for those places where drones are useless, right? A way to get eyes on a target without basically sending up a flare that says, hey, we're here. And the advantages are just insane. Seriously, look at this. We're talking about being as quiet as a refrigerator, your kitchen fridge. No exhaust fumes, so nothing can smell you coming. A tiny heat signature, making you almost invisible to thermal scopes. And get this, they can handle goat trails that would completely stop an ATV. Plus, they're super low impact on the environment. No oil, no gas leaks. This isn't just a small step up, you guys. It's a total game changer. Okay, so Section 2, two paths diverge. This is where it gets really interesting. Because as this tech started blowing up, this great schism happened. The whole world of electric bikes basically split down the middle into two completely different schools of thought. Think of them like two warring clans, each with its own philosophy on how to build the perfect silent steed. So, on one hand, you've got the Ronin's path. This is all about versatility, endurance, a single bike for a ton of different missions. It's street legal, built for the long haul. Then you have the Shinobi's way. This is the total opposite. It's about agility, being super lightweight, and specialization. These aren't all-arounders. They're the perfect tool for one very specific, very critical job. All right, let's start with the heavyweight Ronin, the disciplined strategist of the bunch, the Zero FX. This is that lone warrior we were talking about, the one built for endurance and to be as versatile as possible. Okay, let's look at the specs for this Ronin, and what really jumps out here is the combo of torque and battery. 78 foot-pounds of torque? That's huge, and it's instant, perfect for climbing. But the real story is that battery. At 7.2 kilowatt hours, it's the biggest one we're looking at today. That's what makes this an endurance machine. It's why it can hit over 100 miles in the city and get up to highway speeds. This bike is our heavyweight benchmark for sure. So, here's the key. They call it a disciplined strategy for a reason. This isn't just about having a ton of power, it's about having smart, controllable power. You can literally pull out your smartphone and tune this thing. Dial back the torque if the trail gets slick, crank up the regenerative braking to squeeze out more range, or just unleash everything it's got when you need it. The bike actually adapts to your mission. It's brilliant. Okay, so now let's jump over to the other path. Section 3, the Shinobi clan, the school of what they call hyperlight assassins. And these bikes, they are a whole different animal. They couldn't care less about endurance. It's all about one thing, an explosive power-to-weight ratio and being crazy agile. And right here, you can see the different tactics within the Shinobi clan. You've got the Arctic Leopard, which carries the biggest battery of the group, and that gives it the best range on the track, 35 miles. Then there's the E-Ride Pro, a little lighter, a little less battery. And then you have the Ewatt, the lightest of them all, which gives up a bit of battery for just raw, insane power. Now, inside this clan, one bike gets called the Balanced Master, the E-Ride Pro SS 3.0. Looking at the numbers, you might think, it's not the most powerful, doesn't have the longest range. But here's the thing. Everyone who rides it says it's the best all-around bike. The power is snappy but predictable. You can trust it. It just feels right, like it's perfectly in sync with the rider. A very composed, very trustworthy assassin. And then we have the other extreme, the Ewatt 2.0. People literally just call it the lunatic, and for good reason. It crams a blistering 40 horsepower into a frame that weighs only 154 pounds. That's absurd. It's a rocket ship. Riders say it feels like the power is trying to rip itself out of the chassis. This thing is pure, untamed fury, and honestly, it's only for the most skilled, or maybe the craziest riders out there. But wait, outside of these two clans, there are whispers, legends spoken of in hushed tones, about a mythical beast, a demon of pure power. They call it the Oni. This is Section 4, the legend of the Oni, the Stark Varg. So, is the legend real? Well, the manufacturer's claims are monstrous. We're talking acclaimed 60 horsepower, a huge 6.5 kilowatt-hour battery, and a torque figure that is just earth-shattering. But the legend really comes from the people who've written it. You hear the same thing over and over. This thing just picks up, bro. So much power, that thing eats it up. And of course, that kind of legendary status, that kind of insane performance, yeah, it comes with a pretty legendary price tag, $15,000. This thing really is in a category all by itself. It's a premium beast for people who want the absolute, undisputed peak of performance and are willing to pay for it. But here's what makes the Varg's mystique so powerful. It's a beast that's never been truly measured against the others. See, it was too heavy to be included in the hyperlight shinobi tests. But it's not a street-legal, versatile Ronin either. It's its own thing, built for pure off-road domination. So it remains this kind of monstrous, legendary force that's defined more by its terrifying reputation than by any side-by-side comparison. Okay, so Section 5, choose your steed. We've met the clans, we've heard the legends, which brings us to the big question. You're the warrior. How do you choose your ride for this silent battlefield? Well, the answer is simple, and it always comes down to this. Know thy mission. It's not about which bike is the best overall. There is no best. It's about which bike is the perfect tool for the job you need to do. So you have to ask yourself, what am I? Am I a long-range scout who needs that versatility and endurance of the Ronin? Am I a technical rider who needs the balanced, nimble feel of the Shinobi's balanced master? Or am I a pure power seeker, chasing the insane rush of a lunatic or the legendary might of the Oni? So, in the end, this whole silent revolution really just boils down to one question for you, the rider. Endurance or agility? Discipline or pure fury? The battlefield is waiting. The only question left is, which path will you choose?